Sell your house and buy a new one. And today we're going to talk about deciding between hiring movers or moving yourself.
And we have a lot of, we've had personal information with this one. So, but either way, do you know that the average American moves on average 11 times in their lifetime? This means you have this question all the time. Do you hire or move yourself? So we're going to talk you through some factors in order for you to make the best decision for you.
Exactly. Therefore, as my wife said, we had a life story because we hired movers and also we moved ourselves too. Therefore, we can tell you from both sides that's how it look like this scenario. And therefore, understanding moving needs is really important. And the reason that we said both scenario is deciding that hiring yourself, doing yourself or hiring others depends on a scale of the complexity of your move. No?
Right. So there's a couple factors we're going to really take into place. Number one is going to be volume of your belongings.
Exactly.
Professional movers are better at moving large volume, so where DIY is going to be more impractical. However, I will say there are exceptions. We're not getting paid for this. It's not promotional, but we did use for all of our major our 3-bedroom homes, and we did it ourselves to another big home. Who do we use? I'll think of it in a second. I'll think of it and I'll tell you. All right, so either way, you can DIY much easier when it is a smaller move where you can handle all the load. No, it wasn't pods. It was U-Pack.
Exactly.
And they were great. The next thing is distance.
Exactly. Therefore, distance is really important. Therefore, you need to really think about the professional movers versus DIY movers. What do you think based on our experience and the data that we have?
Well, the data says long distance moves are better with the professionals because they can make sure that they get there on time. Our experience is not this. In DIY, they do say, the experts recommend that short distance is way more cost effective when you do it yourself. When I talk about that with us, when we moved from like Miami to Denver and we used professionals, how was that? Did they get us on time?
No.
When we did it ourselves and we moved from Denver to Pittsburgh, did we do it ourselves?
Yes.
And did we get there on time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got everything there on time. So I have to say, we have cross-country traveled with the help of we told you, U-Pack, and we have really gotten around. And again, they're not paying us for this video. We're just giving you our testimonial for them.
Exactly. Therefore, also we need to talk about special items. What are special items?
Things that are really, really important, that are delicate. Maybe you have a piano, maybe you have an artwork, maybe you have something that is like something in your family is an heirloom. You need to make sure that this is very taken care of. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure that professional movers know that this is precious to you, or you're going to do that one yourself, one or the other. So you really take those items into consideration, and the more you have of those special items, the more we're going to have to talk about how you can take care of these, because some things are very delicate and easy to break, so you have to make sure it's not getting broken during a move.
Exactly. And if you are doing DIY, really you need to consider the time, energy, and moving yourself could be very overwhelming in sometimes, but as my wife said, it could be rewarding when you have your personal items because you know how much your personal items have value to you. Therefore, you can take care of it because you own them and they belongs to you.
The next thing and last thing we're going to talk about in this area before we move on to the cost is your physical ability and your time. This is honestly the biggest factors, I would say, with most people.
For DIY.
For DIY or professionals, because with DIY, you are going to have to spend the time, the energy, the help. I'm not going to lie to you. In Denver, when we were moving from one apartment to another apartment, I literally went into labor moving boxes from one place to the other. Yes, I was 9 months pregnant. My baby was due May 6th. I had to move May 4th. I gave birth May 5th. Shocking, right? Because again, the physical ability at my time was that we needed to move. It had to be done, but the baby decided they were going to come because of my physical ability. Another thing is time.
Exactly. Therefore, if you are in time crunch, definitely professional movers is going to be your first priority and your first choice because let's be honest, as my wife said, we have a physical limitation too with the DIY movers. And then if you wanted to do it yourself and you are in the time constraint, definitely professional movers could be really helpful.
Now, we're going to talk about cost right now, but first we're going to do our introduction. Let's Hit it. Hi, it's Victoria. Welcome to our channel and podcast.
And if this is your first time in our podcast and YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and get notified.
Also, you call text all the time, 252-327-3357. We love talking to you. Don't be shy. Also, grab our buyer's guide and seller's guide in the description below. I know we did the intro late, but let's talk about cost. So really, this is the biggest factor on why you're going to do DIY, maybe. Because DIY is typically less expensive, even for cross-country. You do have to come up with your own packing material, your own truck, or the putting things in there, your fuel. You have to go from one place to the other. Where professionals have all of those things in line. You're gonna get multiple quotes. You're gonna make sure that they all have insurance. You're gonna make sure that they do cost more, but you're gonna get value in the budget themselves too. So there's reasons to do it, and then there's reasons to not. What about hidden cost?
And then hidden costs.
This was our biggest issue with professionals.
That was really the biggest things. I remember when we actually hired people in Miami to move from North Miami Beach all the way to Denver, Colorado. We had they were charging us cubic feet, and basically
they lied.
They said that we are 300 cubic feet, and then we said, okay, we are good, and then
and he measured.
And I measured it, and after they came, they charged us for almost 350 cubic feet. But then when they offloading from the truck, I saw the numbers on the truck was like a 275 cubic feet.
So they ripped them off.
Therefore, pretty much we got charged for extra, and then on their paperwork, which we didn't argue, was less than what we saw.
So we can say that the cost can be time saved. It can reduce your stress if you do have children and you don't need to, be moving to have a baby. I would say professional movers are the more way to go. Now, DIY can be a little bit more of a longer disruptive to your routine, disruptive of your time, because you, instead of doing whatever it is that you do, you now have to factor in the time to pack, time to unpack, time to move the stuff into the truck, the pod, whatever it is that you're doing. So you have to take those into consideration because your time is money and that is a cost.
Exactly. And then also depends on your job too. If you're going for a job that pays for your relocation, that's one scenario. Definitely you're going to use the professional movers.
Things to talk about next is risk, right? So let's talk about risk. With liability, you're going to have professional movers typically come with more liability. They're going to have insurance that they're going to offer you. DIY, you're responsible for if you damage things that happen during the move. You've done it yourself. Nobody's going to pay for that stuff. Another thing is safety. What about safety?
Safety also, as my wife said, when you hire a professional, they are trained to handle heavy lifting and reduce the risk of the injury, versus if you're doing yourself, again, you might not have the right tools and assistant to move things safely, and you might hurt yourself too. Therefore, there's both pros and cons to both sides.
Okay, so you have to see, absolutely. Let's talk about stress though. You have to also consider stress. How much are you willing to handle of stress? Because physical movers are going to reduce your physical and emotional stress, and DIY, it can be very, very, very stressful. You can underestimate very easily how much time and effort this is. For instance, my husband, he has a little bit of an issue when he had to say, okay, the truck is here, I must unpack everything right now. We're not stopping. I also have this bit of an issue too. But he's like, nope, we have to get everything out right now. I don't care. We just rolled up. We got the house and it took us 8 hours to buy the house and it's 5 o'clock in the evening. We're unpacking all the bedrooms. Everything is going off the truck right now. Doesn't matter. No sleep. Get it done. Again, that's his stress level and how he's handling it. But again, and it's true, and we both have the same issue, so this is why it's not a good company. We're like, get it all done right now. But this is how we handle stress. So that is something to really consider when making your decision. Because you have to figure out what is best for you based on your needs, your resources, and your personalities. I just told you some of mine, and his. So you have to make sure that are you okay with the DIY? Or can you just let others do it and take the hands off the rein? So this is it. Another thing is financial. Do you want to talk about that?
Exactly. Therefore, your budget that you dedicate also is your choice, to be honest. Also, you should think about, can you afford it to professional movers or not? Or your job is paying it for relocation. Therefore, all this is factored that you need to make sure that is budget-wise is going to work for you and your family.
Right, and then peace of mind is the last thing I'm going to talk about because moving, buying a home is a significant life change. Moving is a significant life change. Do you want a hands-off approach to let professionals do it? Or are you more the one that has to be in control? I kind of let you hint that we're a little bit more people who like to have a little bit more control. But you might be different than us. So you have to make an informed decision based on, are you going to hire or are you going to move yourself? Especially when you're selling your home to buy another home, because you're having all this other stress. So what are you willing to give up and what must you control?
Exactly. And don't forget to call Alan Victoria Piner, real estate agent professional in Pitt County, North Carolina. We love to help you to move to the area or selling and going out of this area. Please call us. Coming here, 252-327-3357. And also look for all of the playlists that we record for you. And if you are in the podcast, please follow us, write us a comment. We love to connect with you and see you next time.